Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping right into the crypto world. It's been moving fast.
It really has.
Our sources are, well, they're showing everything from big price moves to some pretty major regulatory stuff. We want to sort of unpack what's really driving things.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got Bitcoin hitting $100K again. You have Ethereum's big gains post-upgrade.
Right.
Then there's Coinbase making a huge buy, this Trump stablecoin controversy, and even states getting into crypto reserves. Lots to cover. Let's try to make sense of it.
Okay, let's start with Bitcoin. Reclaiming $100,000. That's a big number. First time since February, right?
That's right. And the apparent catalyst seems to be this U.S.-UK trade deal President Trump announced.
Okay, but why? What's the link between a trade deal and Bitcoin's price? Seems a bit indirect.
Well, it is fascinating how the market reacted. Almost immediately, Bitcoin jumped about 6% this week.
What?
Pushed it over $100, and now it's kind of hovering around $103,000. Some analysts are even talking, potentially $120,000 if the momentum holds.
So the thinking is, maybe Bitcoin acts as a hedge or benefits from global economic shifts tied to these deals.
That seems to be part of the narrative building, yeah. It suggests Bitcoin's perception is broadening beyond just tech news.
Interesting. And you mentioned related stocks like Coinbase, Riot. They got a lift, too.
They did. It just shows how linked everything is in this space now. Good news for Bitcoin tends to ripple outwards, boosting confidence across the board.
Right. Okay, now Ethereum. It had an even, wilder week, up 20% on Thursday.
Yeah, that was its best weekly gain since May 2021, I think. Really significant.
What was behind that?
That surge was mostly down to the Petra upgrade on the Ethereum network.
Petra, okay.
Yeah, it focused on making transactions cheaper and improving how staking works, making it more efficient.
So making the network better for users and stakers makes sense. That would attract interest.
Exactly. And we also saw about $17.6 million in net inflows into ETH-focused ETFs. So investor interest seems to be picking up again, even though it was lagging Bitcoin earlier in the year.
So real tech improvements driving price. Good to see. Now let's shift gears. Coinbase buying Deribit. $2.9 billion. That sounds massive.
It is. It's actually the biggest acquisition in crypto history.
Wow. And Deribit is options.
Exactly. They're probably the leading platform for crypto options trading.
So this means Coinbase is really pushing into the derivatives market beyond just spot trading.
Absolutely. It's a huge move to solidify their position, especially with institutional investors who use options and futures a lot for, hedging and more complex strategies. It really signals they want to serve that growing institutional demand.
Got it. Expanding their toolkit. Okay, now for something maybe a bit more controversial. This stablecoin linked to President Trump.
Ah, yes. World Liberty Financial. It's a crypto business connected to President Trump and his sons. They've unveiled a stablecoin.
And there are concerns.
There are. Pretty immediately, Senate Democrats raised flags about potential conflicts of interest. And the news that they got a $2 billion investment from an entity with ties to Abu Dhabi, that's definitely fueled the debate.
So it's sparking calls for, what, rules about politicians and crypto?
Yeah, calls for legislation maybe banning elected officials from trading crypto, or at least clearer rules around these kinds of ventures. It really underscores that intersection of crypto and politics.
Definitely something to watch. Okay, finally, these state-level moves. New Hampshire and Arizona passing crypto reserve laws.
That's right. New Hampshire was first, approving a law that lets the state actually hold digital assets, like Bitcoin, in its reserves.
Huh. First in the U.S.
First in the U.S. And Arizona quickly followed, becoming the second state with a similar bill.
What's the significance here? States holding Bitcoin directly.
Well, it's significant because it's proactive. It could signal a shift towards maybe a more decentralized approach to regulation in the U.S., with states experimenting on their own.
So instead of just waiting for federal rules, they're acting now.
Exactly. It kind of opens the door,
Yeah.
Could inspire other states, raises questions about how states might integrate digital assets into their financial systems.
So putting it all together, we've got Bitcoin reacting to macroeconomics, Ethereum boosting itself with tech upgrades, a major player consolidating power, politics getting tangled with stable coins, and states starting to make their own rules. It's a lot happening at once.
It really is a very dynamic picture right now. And it makes you think, doesn't it? With all these different forces, market moves, tech changes, big business strategies, political angles, new regulations, what do you, listening right now, think will have the biggest long-term impact on the financial world, maybe on your own investment thinking. What new questions does all this bring up for you?